I would like for you to take us through the process and what you have done to get the job that you are working, because there's like 80% of people who are unemployed in South Africa at the moment, and which is very sad for them because they are probably depressed and sad and also hopeless. So with this channel of mine, what I'm trying to do is I am trying to be a bridge between the workplace or people who are exposed to specific work fields and to go there in person myself for them to just watch from home and see how people got their particular job in any field. It could be retail, it could be manufacturing, it could be fashion design, it could be McDonald's or Markham's. So that is what I'm trying to give to people at home. So could you take us through your processes and how you got where you are today?
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, so my name's Bern. I'm the marketing team lead. That's my current role. That's not what I started as, though. I came into this business as a marketing assistant. So I worked just on social media posts, but now I'm leading a team of 8. So I progressed quite quickly with that. And I would say that's probably because of the most important thing I learned while looking for a job was to just skill yourself up in as many areas as you can. So if you have a particular job in mind that you want to do, branch yourself out a little bit further and see what other niches you can learn that relate to what you want to do. So in my case, I wanted to do social media. But I also then branched myself out and taught myself video editing, which they obviously play hand in hand.
Yeah.
So my ability to video edit was a complete surprise to the employers. And so that actually helped me progress further.
And gave you advantage. What do you think is the most common misconception that people have when applying for a job?
That the company needs you. From my point of view, I've had to hire a lot of people, and a lot of people are applying as if the company needs them in particular.
So it's that mentality that actually make you lose your chances of getting the job.
Yes, you need to treat this as the job you want to apply for. I feel a lot of people are applying to a lot of jobs. I know that was something I did myself. But I think an important piece of information you need is to actually tailor your CV and application to the specific job you're wanting to do. So if you're wanting to do social media, don't put in your CV that you edited professional corporate videos.
So as a graduate, as someone who has went to university, what type of characteristics or attitude or behavior are you meant to be having if you are in an interview, and what attitude do you have to possess when you are in an interview? And because I've actually realized that a lot of people, they've got this attitude, and in their head they think, like you said, like they think that they are needed, and they come in with that attitude that I'm a graduate, I know what I want, and you can't tell me anything. Even though they're not saying it verbally, but you could see with their facial expressions and their body language and stuff. So what do you think is the most recommended behavior, especially when you are interviewed by a panel of interviewers, and if you get the job, what type of attitude do you have to have in a workplace?
Yeah, so in this day and age, if you've even made it to the interview, that's a good sign. I don't know what the exact stats are on it, but there's a very low application to interview rate in businesses these days, just based on the vast number of people who apply to particular roles. So if you've made it to that interview, you can be confident, but as you said, don't be overconfident and smug in a sense. More confidence in yourself, in your ability, but also you need to try convince the interviewers why you're the best person for the job. Again, without being smug about it and saying, if you don't hire me, your business is going to fail, but just outline your strengths, outline your achievements in the past, and what you think you can do for the business.
Okay. So what are applications you use to apply for jobs? You actually use to apply for jobs?
Yeah, so for me, I used LinkedIn, Indeed, and if this is for South Africans, PNet.
Yeah.
It's not a global thing, but it is for South Africans by South Africans. So the majority of my time was spent on PNet and LinkedIn, but I did dabble in Indeed when those other wells dried up. Yeah.
So how do you actually tailor your CV to be ATS friendly? Yeah, is it? It's ATS friendly. How do you tailor your? Because like that new system that actually reshuffles and picks those specific CVs off of like thousands of CVs and stuff. So how did you tailor your CV to be recommended and to be picked by the ATS system?
Well, there's certain categories that you need to hit, which are usually listed by the employer, such as minimum years of experience. So my advice with that, I didn't necessarily get around that system. I always have been and always will be very truthful with my CV. So it was more, I had changed my mindset of applying for the jobs that I knew I was able to do instead of overreaching. So, if the application said needs 5 years experience and I only had 2, I wouldn't apply for that job. In my mind, that was a waste of my time, especially if I am tailoring my application to that business. If there's a low chance of doing that, because I've already failed at getting my foot in the door by missing that experience that they wanted, I just looked for a job that was more in line with what I know and what my field is.
So what would you say, or how would you give people advice on being patient and waiting for the right job? Because I know there are people out there who are actually applying and applying and applying with no responses, and they get messed up because they have been applying, they get impatient and they feel like this is not working anymore. So how did you actually keep up with being patient whilst you were applying for a job?
Yeah, so just a little bit about me. I'm from Durban, now working in Cape Town.
Yeah.
It took me an entire year, maybe a year and 1 month, to actually find this job. And so I actually have the perfect answer for this.
Yeah.
It is learn as much as you can. Treat it as your gap year, in a sense. Not to party, but to, as I said earlier, upskill yourself. So while you're applying for jobs, and while I was applying for jobs, I was teaching myself video editing. I was learning more about social media. I was learning a little bit about SEO. So yeah, treat your job as applying and learning, because the more you learn, the better your applications will get.
So any more advice you could give to people?
Yeah, just patience is key. But again, your patience will be rewarded if you put the work in. I think a lot of people, especially with the rise of applying for jobs digitally, will just set up an agent using AI that can just apply to 1,000 jobs a day. But that's not going to get you anywhere. It may get you small acceptances, but it'll be in fields you don't want to be in. It'll be for jobs you're not qualified to do. So realistically, you've put in that time setting up the AI and it's going to get you nowhere. Instead, tailor your applications, be truthful of what you know, apply for what you know, and then try learn more so that you can hit those other jobs.
Well, thank you. I think that's about enough. Thank you for inviting me, and I hope you have a successful year ahead.
Thank you. I hope everyone else does as well.
Yeah. Okay, guys, we just spoken to Ben. I hope you take those advices he has given you and apply those to your process of applying for a new job. Cheers.